Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So here we are again, ready to read from the Srimad Bhagavatam.
Canto 4, Chapter 13, Text 34.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Text 34. The performer of the sacrifices and the karma kanda activities achieves the fulfillment of the desire for which he worships the Lord. Purport. In the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says that he awards benedictions to the worshipper according to his desire. The Supreme Personality of Godhead gives all living entities conditioned within this material world full freedom to act in their own way. But to his devotee he says that instead of working in that way, it is better to surrender unto him, for he will take charge of the devotee. That is the difference between a devotee and a fruitive actor. The fruitive actor enjoys only the fruits of his own activities, but a devotee, being under the guidance of the Supreme Lord, simply advances in devotional service to achieve the ultimate goal of life, to go back home, back to Godhead. The significant word in this verse is kaman, which means sense gratificatory desires. A devotee is devoid of all kaman. He is anyabhilashita shunya. A devotee is always devoid of all desires for sense gratification. His only aim is to satisfy or gratify the senses of the Lord. That is the difference between a kami and a devotee. Interesting. I think two things came out there. One is when it says that we should surrender to Krishna, for he will take charge of the devotees. The first point was, what, even when things appear to go wrong? You know, then you question, why did I get that car crash, or why did this happen, or why did my dog leave me, or whatever I say. And then the other thing was today's morning class where the speaker was saying, we have to go back to Krishna, we have to remember that's the goal, that's why we're here, and we get caught up in petty stuff and mundane stuff and this and this, but the thing is we just need to be focused on going back to Krishna. So I was just thinking of that as well with regards to that devotees, his only aim is to satisfy or gratify the senses of the Lord. Sometimes we can forget that. It's true though, when we lose sight of the goal, we getting caught up in a lot of stuff. He said, she said, this, I don't like this and that. But if you think, let's all get together and work together for a project that will please Krishna, that will please the Guru or whatever like that, you kind of forget about other stuff because you're all focused on that one goal. You kind of do. It only gets weird when you kind of think, hold on, why did they get that credit? Or why did they say that? It's real, if you think about it, you know? And if everyone has the same mindset of just working together and feeling good that, wow, we did that, we did that.
Yeah.
Very different.
All for one and one for all. For Krishna.
There's no I in team.
Yeah. Text 35. Thus, for the sake of a son for King Anga, they decided to offer oblations to Lord Vishnu, who is situated in the hearts of all living entities. Purport. According to sacrificial rituals, animals are sometimes sacrificed into the yajna arena. Such animals are sacrificed not to kill them, but to give them new life. Such action was an experiment to observe whether the Vedic mantras were being properly pronounced. Sometimes small animals are killed in a medical laboratory to investigate therapeutic effects. In a medical clinic, the animals are not revived. But in the yajna arena, when animals were sacrificed, they were given life by the potency of Vedic mantras. The word Shipi Vistaya appears in this verse. Shipi means the flames of the sacrifice. In the sacrificial fire, if the oblations are offered into the flames, then Lord Vishnu is situated there in the form of the flames. Therefore, Lord Vishnu is known as Shipi Vishta. Shipi Vishta. So interesting. I find this topic, it's not always easy to understand and or accept, or it's rather easy to say, but because of the times that we live in, it's not so easy to understand. But Vedic yajnas would use sacrifice, but the sacrifice of the animal that would be put in, generally we hear Ashwamedha yajnas, which means a horse, so the horse would be sacrificed. An old horse would sacrifice into the fire, but then would come out with a new, younger body. But even then, sometimes I'm kind of like, well, but what's the point of that? You haven't really benefited that horse. You just gave it another birth and a younger body, so it's got to go through all the stuff again. Better is that it would be liberated in some way, I guess. But so it's, and here, Prabhupada draws attention to something that would certainly be, refuted or debated, which is animal testing. He says that in a laboratory sometimes an animal is tested on and sacrificed so that a higher good can be, for what he says, for therapeutic effects. So I don't think he's necessarily condoning that, of course, but that's there. And then the other thing is that Vishnu is the flames of the fire. So when lighting a yajna fire, you welcome and invite Vishnu to be present to accept everyone's offerings, and in that way we perform this yajna. And doing yajnas is really a far out thing, actually, because we can relate to it on some really deep internal level, but the whole science behind it, it's like it's very mystical. So it's clearly from another age and from another time, but but it's very it's very mystical type of thing. Anyway, I guess that's all I have to say.
It's interesting because being brought up like a Hindu, well, not like a Hindu, it's quite
being brought up in Hindu culture.
It's common to see that, though,
Yogis?
Yeah, like when my sister-in-laws were expecting, they had the yogis at home, and I can't remember what else, other events, but sitting, in the front room, not enough space, and there's a priest, and you know what he was doing, but it was a lot of noise going on from everyone. Set something on fire, okay.
Come in the middle of your house, set something on fire. It's very Western culture, that's like a no-no, unless you're lighting a fire to keep warm and in the fireplace.
And we had temporarily had a ginger cat, and they used to sit on the windowsill and watch it as well. Very well behaved.
So maybe that cat got a new body or liberated.
Text 36. As soon as the oblation was offered in the fire, a person appeared from the fire altar wearing a golden garland and a white dress. He was carrying a golden pot filled with rice boiled in milk.
Pious.
Text 37. The king was very liberal, and after taking permission from the priests, he took the preparation in his joined palms, and after smelling it, he offered a portion to his wife. Purport. The word Udaradi is significant in this connection. The wife of the king, Sunita, was not fit to accept this benediction. Yet the king was so liberal that without hesitation he offered to his wife the boiled rice in milk prasad received from the Yagya Purusha. Of course, everything is designed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as will be explained in later verses. This incident was not very favourable for the king. This is a spoiler alert. Since the king was very liberal, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, in order to increase his detachment from this material world, willed that a cruel son be born of the queen, so that the king would have to leave home. As stated above, Lord Vishnu fulfills the desires of the karmis as they desire, but the Lord fulfills the desire of the devotee in a different way, so that the devotee may gradually come to him. This is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita. Dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayanti te. The Lord gives the devotee the opportunity to make progress further and further, so that he may come back home, back to Godhead. I didn't actually know. I know this pastime. I mean, it's quite funny, but I didn't realise that King Anga wanted to have a cruel son. I thought he just missed.
He didn't want to have a cruel son. Where did you get that from?
I just read it.
Where? Read it again, because I didn't hear that.
Since the king was very liberal, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, in order to increase his detachment from this material world, willed. Oh, Krishna did it. Oh dear.
Yeah, I was thinking this answers your statement from before.
What?
About being dependent on Krishna and putting Krishna in control. But then when he gives you a cruel son, when you went through the whole process of doing a yajna, offering everything, and then you get the payasam and give it to your wife. But there's something in here, but carry on.
Oh, that was it.
Yeah, well, it's interesting because here a statement is made by Srila Prabhupada that may become revealed later, but Prabhupada says in the purport, the wife of the king, Sunita, was not fit to accept this benediction. So she was disqualified. For some reason, she wasn't actually fit for this benediction. But the king was liberal, that without hesitation he offered his wife the boiled rice and milk. So, and then Prabhupada later says that because he was liberal, he says, since the king was very liberal, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, in order to increase his detachment from this material world, willed that a cruel son be born of the queen so that the king would have to leave home. See, what we think is good for us and what the Lord knows is good for us can be completely different things. That's why we say, Lord only knows. So it seems, my deduction, is that somehow, for some reason, Sunita was not qualified. And because the king was so liberal, meaning he wasn't strictly following what he was supposed to be following. He should have just accepted. She's not qualified. We can't do this yajna. She's not qualified to have a son, to have a child, or whatever it was. Let's not force it. But instead, he was like, no, it's okay. Let's just do it anyway. He was liberal. But because of that liberality, it seems he was also attached. It just highlights that he was attached to his wife, his queen. But the Lord was like, nope, we want to cut that attachment. So he basically gave him a horrible son so that he would leave home. Don't expect that in this material world you're going to it's just going to be, what do they call it? A cakewalk. It's going to be like a simple thing. The Lord is going to give you what you need to help you to want to get out of this material world. Not what will make you want to stay in the material world. And the problem is, we want to stay in the material world and try to be happy.
You could just ask us,
Yeah, let me know how that works out for you.
You could just talk to us and we'd be, oh my God, Krishna's talking to me.
Well, supposedly he is.
Well, I mean in a normal way, like where the deity talks to you, or he just comes not in a scary way because you don't want to see something and you're like, oh God, what's that? So in a nice way.
No, but I just read something the other day where it says that the Lord is always speaking to us.
Yeah,
it's just he's not always talking in the language that we translate and can and understand, which is
Well,
why...
that's a language barrier that needs to be overcome.
Well, I agree. I agree wholeheartedly. All right, if anyone has any comments or thoughts on this, please put them in the statement below. You know, there's that saying, you can't always get what you want. So, you know, but if you try sometimes, you just might find that you get what you need.
All right, on those profound words.
Bhakti Jagger Ki Jai. Thank you all very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai.